Good day, beautiful people of this home called Earth. Today we will be talking about the crimes that were committed when they threw Henry Ramo and myself into jail so that Henry Ramo could not speak in court. You know me, we always come with correct sources, so this is the state of North Carolina's General Statute website's PDF. No requirement of receipt of the threat. In the statute, it says, in prosecutions, under this number of this article, it shall not be necessary to prove that any legislative officer, executive officer, or court officer actually received the threatening communication or actually believed the threat. And the only reason why I am putting this out there first is just in case they try charging me with the instrument of threatening legislative, executive, or court officials. I am not doing that. I do not wish to threaten them. I do not believe in threats. Okay, I do not believe that you should threaten anybody. Everybody has the right to peace and to live their life in a peaceful manner. But should they arrest me for threatening them, I just wish to have it very publicly known that my intention was never to threaten anybody. And because they don't actually have to prove that I sent any type of threat or that they received any type of threat, I'm just putting this out there so that it's expressed I'm not gonna do that. And that way, if I move before a trial by jury, hopefully somebody on that jury will believe me. Okay, Chapter 14, subsection 112.2, exploitation of an older adult or disabled adult. The definitions are as follows, applying in this section: a person 18 years of age or older who is physically or mentally incapacitated as defined in statute or older adult, a person 65 years of age or older, like Henry Ramo, who is 87 years old, and he has been above the age of 65 since he has been going in and out of court. It is unlawful for a person who stands in a position of trust and confidence with an older adult or disabled adult who has a business relationship with an older or disabled adult knowingly, by deception or intimidation, obtain or use or endeavor to obtain or use an older adult or disabled adult's funds, assets, or property with the intent to temporarily or permanently deprive the older adult or disabled adult of the use, benefit, or possession of funds, assets, or property to benefit someone other than the older adult or disabled adult. Think about it. An attorney who has the trust and confidence from Henry Ramo, who told Henry Ramo that he could go to his property and get his personal belongings back, which is completely legal and lawful. But then when Henry Ramo gets arrested, he quits the case, and then he goes back and he sues for his funds and assets, betrays his trust, and tries to take his property, tries to withhold him from the use and enjoyment of the property that he has used his entire life, that he has worked for his entire life. And nobody cares. You know, nobody cares. Subsection C. It is unlawful for a person to knowingly by deception or intimidation. Thomas McAvoy Brittain, intimidation. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry there, something got caught in my throat. Obtain or use, endeavor to obtain or use, or conspire with another to obtain or use an older adult's funds, assets, or property with the intent to temporarily or permanently deprive the older adults or disabled adults of the use, benefit, or possession of the funds, assets, or property, or benefit someone other than the older adult or disabled adult. This subsection shall not apply to a person acting within the scope of that person's lawful authority as the agent for the older adult or disabled adults. Okay, well, here's the thing. Maybe that last little, this won't apply to us. Maybe that would hold up, except for this little word right here, conspire. And the fact is that you can clearly hear Barbara Lubin say, that's the point, don't, when she is telling Henry to testify against himself, which means that there is a clear conspiracy going on here between Thomas McAvoy Brittain, Boyd B. Massagee, and Barbara Lubin.
Across the first bridge first. I was an employee of Prince, Youngblood, Massagee, and Jackson. That prior relationship. Is there any objection from the defendant to my hearing this matter?
Summary judgment filed February 5th.
Judge,
It was
my name is
previously
Henry
noted.
Ramo.
Have a seat, sir.
My case they talked
Have a
about.
seat.
She is not my attorney's record. She is not my attorney's record.
Have a seat, sir. You're going to be
My
removed
case.
from the court. Mr. Sheriff, take Mr. Ramos, if that's his name, into custody.
Ramo.
please. The gentleman next to you going to have a seat, or you want to go with the sheriff also?
I hear you now. I hear what you're saying.
Mr. Sheriff, take both of them into custody.
Do not touch me. I don't give you permission to touch me. Do you know what you're doing?
Just step over here, please. Place him in the box for now.
I guess so.
Yeah, he's 86 years old.
Mr. Sheriff, leave the elderly gentleman here, please. Yes, since he's a party.
So, by this state statute, by this state code, they are clearly guilty. But none of this stuff matters if the Judicial Society of North Carolina will not allow this to be heard in the court of law. None of it matters. And they will not allow it to be heard in the court of law if you, the public, does not force their hand. Chapter 14, subsection 118.4, extortion. Any person who threatens or communicates a threat or threat to another with the intention thereby wrongfully to obtain anything of value or any acquittant, advantage, or immunity is guilty of extortion, and such person shall be punished as a Class F felon. But apparently these laws do not apply to judicial officers because they are above the law. They're not a man or a woman like you or I. They are some sort of demigods who can go around, threaten, communicate threats, and have people locked up, thrown in handcuffs, thrown in jail so that they can't speak in court. And it's okay. It's okay. Because, well, you know, that man or that woman is, you know, a judicial officer. They are incapable of such a feat. And I believe that that's absolutely ludicrous. Okay, well, I could go through about 20 different statutes that, in my interpretation, they obviously broke that day on March 26th of 2018. But in the interest of time and being able to make more videos to entertain all you good folks with, this will be the last one I'll be presenting today. Chapter 14, subsection 226, intimidating or interfering with witnesses. Now remember, Henry Ramo, because Boyd B. Massagee could not verify the complaint, Henry Ramo was the only man who would testify or be a witness in that civil action at all. And when they arrested him and had him dragged out of court on the morning of March 26th, they were interfering with his right to testify, because he had a right to testify on his own behalf. If any person shall by threat, menaces, or in any other manner intimidate or attempt to intimidate any person who is summoned or acting as a witness in any of the courts of this state, or prevent or deter or attempt to prevent or deter any person summoned or acting as such witness from attending upon such court, the person shall be guilty of a Class G felony. So there you have it. If you go back and watch the documentary Public Notice, Lawless Authority, and if you watch How You Know the Court Has No Jurisdiction, you will see very clearly that they violated these statutes. And let me just ask you something, like, what's the point in having a legislature? What's the point in having a government? What's the point in having civil society and having the creation of laws if the people who create those laws or enforce those laws are above the laws themselves? That's what the Revolutionary War was fought over, because when a society reaches that point, it's no longer a free and open society. There's a word for what that society turns into, and it's called tyranny. I am just conspiracy, and I just wish to conspire with other good people of this planet to leave a better world for future generations than the world we all grew up in. And I encourage everybody to like, share, go back and watch the other videos, and to come stand with us and help us, aid and assist your fellow man, your fellow woman, other people enforce rights and justice, so that we can get that right and that justice back for ourselves, but not only ourselves, our children, and their children, and their children. Thank you. Y'all have a good day. Much love.